Welcome to the Just Us podcast with Pastors Aaron and Diane. In the podcast, we have conversations about faith, family, freedom, and fun. Be sure to like and subscribe on whatever platform you're joining us on so you don't miss anything we share. So let's jump into today's podcast.
All right, hello.
Hello.
Welcome
We're
to
back.
Just Us. So you're having conversations with Pastor Aaron and Pastor Diane about faith, about family, about freedom, and about fun. So our last episode, we took questions.
We did.
We actually took a lot of questions, kind of faith questions, a couple freedom questions.
Yeah.
And so we thought this time we would just focus in on family and fun. Got some more questions.
All about it.
We're going to answer them for you. And once again,
I love both my family and fun.
if you have a question that you want to send us, all you have to do is
Go to justuswv.com and hit the contact page
and send us a question. Why was that so funny?
I don't know. Sometimes you just have days, Sometimes you just have days where you're feeling a little like, fun. Hey, and we're going to be talking about fun, so let's do it.
All right.
Yes.
All right, here's the first question that somebody sent us. When you look back over your years that you have been married, 30 years.
30 years this September.
What is your favorite or one of your favorite memories together?
Wow, that's tough.
Yeah.
See, this is one of those questions that we talked about before.
Yeah.
Where I have a hard time narrowing things down. Listen, I can't even talk. Narrowing things down. I mean, we have a lot of things. How do we narrow them down? How do you narrow that down? I mean, there's obvious reasons, right? Some of the best are the day we got married, the day we had our two girls, right?
Well, we didn't have them on the same day. 2 different days.
Yes. But days, so that, you know what I mean?
Favorite memories. We can't say some of them on air.
I wasn't going to go there, and I normally am the one that goes there, so I'm glad you did.
I'm going to answer it, though.
Okay.
Our best favorite memories together are probably either us and even with our family is we love the beach.
Oh, my happy place.
So being at the beach is my answer to the question. You can't use that one.
I can so. Okay. It's just, it's our memories. So, yes, being at the beach, definitely. And you know what? Another one.
I got one too.
Is that we love in the fall to go see the trees. And that is just in Canaan Valley or Blackwater Falls or somewhere around West Virginia. I mean, we love to do that. Mm-hmm. And that's really fun too. I think that's awesome. And Christmas.
And just hanging out. And we go clubbing every Friday.
That's right.
Sam's Club.
I was going to say, make sure you clarify what club. We go to Sam's Club. We probably know all the workers by name because we're there so often. But it's just something that we do together, and we make fun out of it, don't we?
I think they make fun of us.
You know what? It's okay.
Okay.
And you can laugh at yourself. It's a good thing.
So you can tell special trips together, special times together would be our answer.
Absolutely.
And you got to make those happen. They all don't have to be super planned, but you need to make moments. Moments are memories, and memories are for a lifetime.
They are. And some are organic and some are scheduled.
That's right.
So.
Good answer.
There we go. All right. Let's do this. What's the next question?
Next question.
Okay, the next question is, how do you keep, or what do you do to keep fun moments with your spouse throughout your marriage journey? Wow. Fun moments. How do you keep, or what do you do to keep fun moments with your spouse throughout the marriage journey? That's right. Sam's Clubs will do wonders for you.
It kind of goes with the last question.
It does go with the last question, but to keep fun moments, what do you enjoy that are simple things that just, don't take a lot of effort? Sometimes those are the more fun ones where it's just you happen upon something. If we do go to Sam's, sometimes let's go through and get a drink at Chick-fil-A, or something where we just kind of spontaneously do things, or just think, let's go do this. As you get older and your kids get older, you have a little bit more opportunity for spontaneous things. But fun things are just things that you enjoy together. And like you had said, sometimes you just have to do it. You just have to go and make the efforts and make the time, because you can get caught up in the mundane part of your relationship, like the day in and the day out. And that is something that's not fun for anybody. And until you decide to make a change or even change things around you in that regard, you can make listen to this, you can make anything fun. Anything fun, right? Don't you agree?
Sure.
I think you can make anything fun. Going to the grocery store, you can make fun. Going to the movies, you can make fun. Spending time with your family. Even at work, we work together. And there are times we make things fun and other times we don't. But it just takes effort. What would you say?
Well, you've heard it said before, you can always make more money, but you can't make more time.
You can't make more time with your family.
It's just seizing those moments, capitalizing on those, especially as your kids start getting older and
so true.
They don't want to be around you as much, and all of a sudden they want to be around you, so you got to take advantage of that.
Oh, I take advantage of that for sure.
So this one,
all right. What's this next one?
Sort of goes along with the same.
What's your favorite memory with each other? Favorite memory? Question. Yeah, kind of the same question. Yeah. I mean, do you have any others that kind of stand out with each other?
Well, like you said, we work together. We're with each other a lot. And so,
wow.
No, I just mean
what's that
mean? It's not like we don't see each other for days or anything. So sometimes it's I'm going to a good place though. This sometimes great. It's just in the middle of all those things. It can be like we could go walk, we could go work out, we could go run some errands, and those are all.
I thought of one.
Okay.
It's really funny. And you're a better storyteller than I am. But we were in line for a Carmen concert. Wasn't it a Carmen concert? Is that what it was? In Charleston. And we were in line, and the escalator broke. And the way this is a funny memory. I think it's really funny that we share together. Like if he won't smile in a picture, I always say, escalator lady, because we remember, bless her heart, I feel so sorry for this lady. I'm not making fun of her, but we were on the way up to the second level of the concert, and unfortunately the escalator, and it was packed, the escalator broke. And people were actually on the escalator when it broke. So they were manually turning, and this lady was getting nowhere and yet thinking she was going somewhere, and she was hot, and she started turning red.
Everybody behind her didn't
sweating.
know, so
they're all like pushing
her, yeah.
And she's just, and so he thinks sometimes that is funny, and
they had to
carry her out.
The security and ambulance people had to carry her out.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so those that whenever I try to make him laugh, so that's a memory, a fun memory. Mm-hmm. So not at the expense of that lady. I know, and I'm sorry, whoever that lady was. I hope she's okay. I mean, this has been years back, but anyway.
Yeah, her expression was.
And that's how I get him to laugh in a photo. Like if he just goes, I was like, escalator lady, and then he'll like actually think of it. So that's a funny memory.
Yeah, good.
All right. Well, anyway.
Hey, this is going the same wavelength here, I think. What are your favorite ways to infuse joy, laughter, and fun into your everyday lives?
Don't take each other so seriously.
Yeah.
We what we do is an honor and a privilege, and it can be a very serious thing, but sometimes you got to flip it and just not take things so serious. Like, really? Mm-hmm. I think that's one way what I would say is not take each other so seriously and not. I heard Lester Summerall say this: dead men don't have feelings. So sometimes you just have to not allow yourself to have feelings because you become so serious that you don't just enjoy life.
I feel for people who are so monotonous or so downtrodden that they don't ever smile or laugh. And I know life can bring you a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that is heavy on the heart. Weighs on you, discourages you. But here's the thing about joy. Joy is not happiness. No. Happiness is a feeling, things are going in my favor. But joy is
a fruit.
Comes from living by the word. And it's a joy. It has nothing to do with circumstances around you.
No.
It has everything to do. And I believe as believers, we have a supernatural joy. And it's just good to laugh. Sometimes you just got to, like I love.
Merry heart, make us good like a medicine.
Yeah, she laughs at me because I love watching those shorts where people fall and trip over things and just.
And I'm over there like, oh my gosh, I'm sure they got hurt.
I love to laugh.
Yeah. Oh, I was laughing at a short the other day. I shared it with a staff member, and I will not say what it is because it will get me canceled.
Yeah,
but
you shouldn't. That's
look, I know that's so torturous. Ask me in person and I'll show you. But I couldn't.
Might it be political?
I couldn't stop laughing. Like the facial expressions of a comment that was made just was priceless.
Make the face.
Okay, let me think about it. It was like, are you serious? I can't believe that, but
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, moving on.
All right. So when it comes to family, what are ways or things you do to help maintain and keep healthy boundaries while still loving them well?
Oh, I'm a big boundaries person. Well, first of all, to do it is you have to establish the boundaries. And again, I think I said in the last episode, talking about just staying consistent in your faith, staying consistent in your boundaries. We talked about this many times. If you don't set the precedents first, or you set the precedents first, it makes it easier for people to abide by, or people to recognize, or people to even honor like your boundaries. But if you have to do it after the fact, it does make it a little harder. But I think staying consistent and making sure that you do that, because it's healthy for you, it's healthy for those that you're with, so healthy for those that you're around. I mean, I think it's really important to create healthy boundaries. And how do you do that? You just have to do it. I mean, I know that sounds like a simple answer, but you have to decide. What am I going to allow that come into my life that's healthy, that's empowering, that's good? And what are the things I'm going to keep out that are toxic, unhealthy, and not good for me or for my thoughts or for my mind? So
Yeah, because that could be extended family, that could be church people,
immediate
that could be neighbors,
family,
that could be friends.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you have to, because sometimes it's hard to recognize, but if there are situations or people that always causes you to act or react in a certain way, or creates a certain mood in your life that's not ideal or unhealthy. And it doesn't mean you don't love people, you treat them bad. It's just the Bible says this. It says, guard your heart
above
all else, because it's the wellspring of life. Everything flows out of that. So he's telling us there are areas in our life we have to guard, we have to protect, we have to. A boundary is something that keeps something in or keeps something out. It's a marker, and
So it doesn't mean you have to keep a boundary up forever, but it might be a season that you have to keep a boundary. The other thing I thought about, what it does is it helps you to stay loving, because it doesn't, if you can help distance yourself from some things, it actually allows you to be more reflective, more appreciative, more grateful, and then maybe that boundary can be lifted. But you can be more loving a lot of times by building a boundary than by not building a boundary, even though I was taught this, and it was a book, Boundaries by Dr. Henry Cloud, which is a great book, and Dr. Townsend, I think. But you never build a wall, you build a gate. So you build a boundary with a gate, but never a wall, because a wall is something that's permanent. But a gate allows you to have an opportunity to open that again. You might have to shut it for a season until you get healthy or they get healthy, and then open the gate again and allow them to possibly come in and out of your life again. So I feel like that is such a good example of a healthy boundary.
Yeah, I think I said this on a Sunday one time. It's like Facebook. Like, you can block certain people, right?
Yeah.
And so that's not
a
bad thing.
I don't know. It's probably changed since I've been on.
That's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean you call them up and say, I'm blocking you, you no good. But you block this. You just don't give certain people access. Now, if that's people that need to help you and you just don't want to hear it, that's not what we're talking about.
No.
But we're talking about the people there are just some people that will drain you. Some people will drag you into their circumstances or their downfall. They're just those situations. You got to guard your heart, because it will make you think and feel a certain way. And not everybody is good soil.
No.
And you got to know when God says help, but you also got to know when he's like, I can't tolerate that area.
Right. Some are permanent, and some are, like I said, give the opportunity. You might just need to keep a distance for a period of time in your life, and then you may be able to let them back in. But some you may not. That might be a chapter that gets closed.
So we got a couple more questions.
Yep, let's do it.
And so here's the next one.
Okay.
What would you say is your greatest joy in parenting?
In parenting, my greatest joy is seeing my children at the age that they're at, serving and loving Jesus the way that they do.
Yeah, obviously, you're proud of them when they're on the dance team or soccer,
Absolutely.
whatever, all those things.
Yeah.
But when you
overall,
and you stay consistent with your principles. When you're in ministry, there are good church moments, there are tough church moments, but when you get to a place where you see your kids starting to make a choice to serve God and fulfill their call. It doesn't happen overnight.
No.
But when you see them starting to walk into those things, that's probably
one of the greatest joys. Yeah,
it's one of the
honestly
greatest
the greatest
joys.
Because their relationship, and I've said this to many people, their relationship is built on their relationship between Jesus and themselves, not what we do, not what we've done, but because they established it by seeing us in that consistent faith. So.
Here's a good one.
Okay.
It kind of goes with
it?
that. We can tag it. What's the best parenting advice you wish you knew earlier?
Ooh, the best parenting advice.
I think the best parenting advice is consistency.
Yeah.
What do we wish we would have known earlier? Man, that's a good question.
I'll tell you.
Okay.
Well, I wish I would have known, and as much as I love the Lord with all my heart, mind, soul, and strength. I enjoy what we do, love what we do. But making sure that your family is above all, not above Jesus by any means, but making sure that's solid, that's intact. It's above what you do, who you do it with, how you do it, all those things. I think that's really honestly, to me, the most important parenting advice. I wish I would have had the understanding, especially being in ministry, realizing that our family's never second. Well, it's second to Jesus, but it's never secondary to your job or to your ministry, because your ministry should be your family first and then others. So
I think what I wish I had known earlier is it might just be my personality, but I sometimes I have this philosophy that if you just do A, B, and C, it's all going to work out. Bing, 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 bing.
I know.
And when things don't go exactly like that, it's okay. Trust the process, so to speak, and things will get there. But it's not always. It's just not always how you think it will be. There will be times your kids will impress you. Sometimes they'll disappoint you. Sometimes you'll see things coming. Sometimes you don't. And if someone would have just said, I should stay the course. And big picture, that would be my answer.
Yeah, that's something that we wish we would have known.
Yes.
So,
because sometimes I just thought, well, hey, it's just going to go perfect.
Yes,
you're
you
awesome
have that
people.
philosophy at times. Hey, it's all going to work out. And you know what? You trust God. It does all work out. But there are moments where you have to realize we have to process through this, or we have to process through pain, or we have to process through things, ultimately knowing we're coming to our victory, but still.
So next time, maybe we'll do some questions in the future.
All
but
right.
next time we're going to move on to some other things.
We might have a couple questions from others,
yeah. But this is an interesting question to end this on. Okay?
All right.
Here's the question. Many married couples are polar opposites.
Okay.
Is there something about the other's personality that is a strength to your weakness but drives you crazy? If so, what would that be?
You get to answer this first.
Wow. And we are opposite in a lot of ways.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say we're extreme opposite, but we're definitely opposite in a lot of, let's say I'm an in-the-moment person, but I can still plan, okay? But I don't take everything as strenuous as you do. You're like this extreme planner.
You're still
You got to know the strategies. You got to know, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Me, I'm like, hey, it's okay. Let's just make the most of the moment we're in, even if it's tragic. I mean,
that would have been my answer.
That didn't sound right.
Like, one thing I admire about you is you are in the moment, fully enveloped, and I'm thinking of the next step, the next moment, the next phase. And so I do wish I was in the moment, and I've worked on being in the moment more. But because you're in the moment and I'm more thinking ahead and more strategic, I'm always like, because they're like, hey, what time do we need to leave the house to be there? I'm like, well, we got to drive an hour, so we need to leave at 9.
This is what drives him crazy.
10:30, we're walking out the door of the house. So in the moment, sometimes drives me crazy, things like that.
Yes. And sometimes
when we go on
his
vacation,
pressure,
when we leave the house and pack that car and we travel, we're going to stop here, and we're going to get there, then vacation starts.
No.
When we start the car, we're on vacation with you.
That's
and
right.
It's like,
the minute you pull out of the driveway,
let's stop and get some gum.
starts.
Let's stop and get a coffee.
You have to enjoy every moment. We're making memories, remember? We're making memories. So this is why, can you tell this is the things that drive us crazy? But you know what?
I do love that about you and appreciate it about you.
Yes, and I love and appreciate about you that you like to plan and have strategies and goals. I've gleaned a lot of things from you. I've learned a lot of things. I've learned what to do, what not to do. But I also know, we can't take for granted the moment that we're in, because that moment that we're in is a moment that God created us to be in. And yes, sometimes we got to pick up the pace, and sometimes we got to slow down. But vacation time, that's where the driving each other crazy comes in. Because you think it starts once we get to the destination. It starts for me the minute I leave the driveway, because we're making memories and we're relaxed. We have nothing that's holding us back, and that's just part of.
Need some therapy, don't we?
I think we all understand that as spouses.
Yeah. Yes.
So, so that does those things drive us crazy.
Here's a good thought to maybe.
Not letting me talk sometimes drives me crazy, and that drives you crazy
sometimes
too. So
she
that's
starts
both
telling
of us.
me something and just stops and leaves the room. I'm like,
or,
what's the rest of this?
No, here we go. Or here's one. Oh no, I told you that. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. Well, I thought I told you. Well, that doesn't help me now.
Here's a good way to land this plane, wrap
Okay.
up this podcast, is because sometimes we've said this, we lose sight of this.
Yeah.
I think couples do this, is there are things that brought you together and attracted you, and then at some point, those things become the things that distract you and even irritate you. But you have to honor and appreciate the differences, because what
makes you whole.
What I'm weak in, you are strong in, and I'm assuming vice versa. And so we need to lean into each other's strengths and not just focus on.
Sure.
those
And you know what
weaknesses.
it is? I've learned this too, and we've never been really good at this. Taking breaks from your day to day. The things that when you start to allow these things to drive you crazy, that is a sure telltale sign we need to take a break. So please, people, take a break when you need to take a break, because it'll preserve a lot of things, your family. It'll preserve your faith even when you take a break through some things and just have some fun. So
Now that we're in the moment, it's time to close this podcast.
oh well, we've had a fun time today. I hope you guys had a fun time with us.
Yep. Thank you guys thank you guys for making
Being real
time
here.
to watch our silliness, and hopefully something was helpful there. And we
Absolutely.
look forward to next time we get to talk to you guys and share some conversations
We're
about
excited.
faith, family, freedom, and fun.
And fun.
And bless you guys, and thanks for
Thanks for joining us. We look
checking out.
forward to hearing from you.
And remember, share this podcast, subscribe to it, share it, because we just want to help more people.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us for today's podcast. There will be a new podcast every other Wednesday, so be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss anything we share. Thanks for joining us today, and we will see you for the next episode of the Just Us podcast.